Welcome back for the second half performance of our 2012 GW Business Plan competition. One thing I mentioned earlier this morning is that we have a separate $10,000 prize set aside for the best undergraduate team. And what I didn't explain is that for the first time we have a majority of the teams competing to qualify as undergraduate. And to qualify, they have to have 50% or more of the team members who are undergraduates at GW. So happens that all four we're going to hear this afternoon are among those five that are undergraduates. The one this morning was the International Education Enterprises team. That was also an undergraduate team. So we're going to start off now, and we're going to hear first from AthleteTrax.
Good afternoon. I'm Jon Halpern, CEO, and we are AthleteTrax. We want to thank everyone for the opportunity to present today. And we're very excited to present to you today our solution which integrates the student athletes and the athletic administration through an integrated platform with instant communication, an integrated calendar, and as well as data-informed management. This solution that we've come up with is addressing a lot of problems that the NCAA is facing nationwide. So I'm going to first introduce to you the team, starting with Ray Coriano. Ray Coriano works for the United States Secret Service, where he works with his superiors with operational planning. With AthleteTrax, Ray will lead up our sales team. Brian Gross is leading up our development team. Currently, we have 4 developers in Pittsburgh working on our product as we speak. Betsy Zander is our industry expert, as she's a D1 gymnast here at GW. And she's also helped us out a lot with the design and the prototype, as you'll see later on in the presentation. So we're going to go right into the business problem, and Betsy's going to talk to you about the problems she faces on a daily basis as a student athlete here at GW.
So being a student athlete means we get priority registration, but this does not solve the problem of student athletes missing class. This semester alone, I missed 8 class days. This is an extreme amount of class days because some classes only meet 16 times a semester. So this is an enormous amount that could be avoided. Also, I don't get the notes from those classes. And I'm not going to go up to another athlete or a regular student and ask for 8 class days worth of notes. That's double the workload that they have to do. That's something I'm not going to put on them. So in addition to this, each student athlete has to fill out 20+ compliance forms for not only GW but the NCAA. They have to be filled out by hand and sent back to the university and the clearinghouse by snail mail. No one uses snail mail anymore. It's an extremely slow process. So long process could be avoided. The next we're going to look at is the athletic administration. So Director Nero and his staff that work us over at Smith Center. It's extremely difficult to try and set up meetings with these advisors that we have to meet with weekly because their schedule is busy as well as ours. So they have to go through head coaches, assistant coaches, advisors, trainers, lifting conditioning coaches just to see when the athlete is available to schedule a meeting. Long process done over the internet and telephone because there is nothing to bring both of our schedules together. And finally, the NCAA 2011 convention had a major point brought up. It was the direct correlation between student athletes missing classes and their dropping GPAs. Now, coming out of college, student athletes only have less than 1% of a chance of going pro. Personally, there's no professional gymnastics, so I have no percent. So when I graduate, I am going to hopefully graduate with good grades, but if not, the other percentage of these student athletes that are graduating from college are graduating with low GPAs, low grades, and they're not getting into those good grad schools or dream jobs that they want to. So this is not just a problem at GW that GW is facing. It is a problem throughout the United States at all universities. So Brian is going to take you through a step-by-step solution plan that we have come up with to help student athletes succeed in and out of the classroom.
Thank you, Betsy. Now, after hearing that, her life sounds pretty miserable, right? Who would want to have to go through all that? But luckily for Betsy, she just logged on to the AthleteTrax user platform, where you can see here, we're on our home screen, she can find everything that she needs on a daily basis right here. So on the left-hand side, she can see her daily schedule, the big important things for that day, like a meeting with a math professor or her team dinner. She can keep up with America's events. She can keep up with GW sporting events. She can read articles, see what's going on in the Smith Center that day. And now getting into data informed management. The compliance issue is huge. We've simplified that into one page. They can print and scan back in PDFs of those forms. We can also do electronic signatures for those that will take it for the school specifically. We can also post video here. Betsy can go on with her team and review past competitions. She can do it individually. She can also track her workouts. She can track nutrition. If you're on the football team or basketball team, you have a huge playbook. You can put that all right here. You can be sitting on the bus on the way to the meet on your phone using our mobile version, checking out that playbook, getting ready for the next competition. So I'm going to hand it over to Jon, who's going to tell you about the feedback that we've gotten from this platform.
So we're going to start with a video clip from Athletic Director Nero here at GW, who again has kindly joined us today. So Ray.
Within an intercollegiate athletic department on a given day, there are hundreds of communications that go on between administrators and student athletes. A system like this would allow us to integrate not only their academic schedule, but their training schedule and their practice schedule, and would allow us to have constant and instant communication with our student athletes. This fall, we welcome the opportunity to allow 3 or 4 of our teams to use this system and to not only help the designers, but also to help ourselves and just see what kind of impact a system like this would have on our program.
So obviously that's one side of it with being the instant communication. So from another perspective, we met with the University of Pittsburgh Associate Athletic Director, and he's in charge of compliance. As Betsy touched upon earlier, basically when he goes to set up a meeting, he has to go through a variety of different channels just to set up a meeting. This may take him 30 minutes to set up a meeting when he could really be spending his time more efficiently on compliance issues or meeting with that student athlete. So using our integrated calendar, it would be a great tool for for Dan Bartholomew and as well for the rest of his administration. Finally here, Chris Mangle, the #2 ranked tennis player at Duke University. He uses one of our competitors' products, TeamWorks, and Ray's going to talk about TeamWorks in a little while. But the issue with that is TeamWorks does not focus on the student athletes. It's not tailored to the student athletes. It's tailored to the athletic administration, and because of that, Chris has not even really logged on to the platform more than once just to fill out his forms. So what he likes about the AthleteTrax system is the fact that it helps him and it tailors towards him as a student athlete. So Ray's going to now discuss sort of the market opportunity and where we see ourselves fitting into this market.
So when looking at the market over the last 10 years, you see the NCAA participation rates have risen at a steady rate of 2 to 3% per year. There are over 444,000 student athletes in the NCAA currently. There are currently 1,096 NCAA schools, and over the last 10 years, 91 schools have entered the market. When looking at our competitors in the market, we have TeamWorks, Sportswear, and Athletic Hub. Sportswear is a medical and training manager, which solely purposes on medical training facilities. Athletic Hub, on the other hand, is used for recruitment assistance in high school athletes and not NCAA collegiate athletes. TeamWorks, our direct competitor, is only in less than 1% of the market. TeamWorks offers mass communication and an integrated calendar, but does not offer text communication, search and add classes, and alternative scheduling, which we feel is what's going to bring these universities together as a community so they can perform not only on the field but also in the classroom. Our sales strategies after alpha testing here at GW in the upcoming fall with 3 to 4 teams. We will beta test in the spring of 2013 with the entire university and then go to market by networking and using marketing techniques such as going to trade shows, going to high school combines and all-star games where we can talk to hundreds and hundreds of these coaches. These coaches are always looking for a competitive advantage to gain against a rival, and this is something that we feel can allow them to gain that competitive advantage that they're always searching for. After meeting with the athletic department and staff, we can pitch the product and talk to them about the benefits and features. During the pricing terms, we can look into the return on investment when it comes to cost. These schools have 2 to 3 administrators that work solely on compliance. Our product, with an investment of just $10,000 to $30,000, will cost less than a third of what they're currently paying for these compliance administrators. After completing the sale, implementation is key. We can't just sell this software and walk away from these customers. We have to go to these schools, talk to these administrators and these students, and teach them how to use the software, teach them how to maximize the benefits and the features. Our pricing model is broken down into 3 separate divisions due to their respective size of teams, Division 1, 2, and 3. Their basic and premium costs per year are broken down due to separate features. The basic cost will be broken down into the actual software and the shell of the website, while the premium will have back-end data entry and scheduling by the developers at AthleteTrax. John will now talk to you about the 5-year plan and the financials.
As we look at years 1 and 2, we realize that we're only looking at less than 1% of the market, 2 schools in year 2, 10 schools in year 2. This being, we realize that the university market is not necessarily the easiest market to penetrate. But we realize that after year 5, we're looking at about 140 schools, almost 13% of market share, which again, it's not significant, but we're still at $4 million in revenue, and we feel like this is a pretty realistic estimate at this point. Taking a quick look into the financials, after year 5, we're looking at about a little over $1 million in revenue, in net income. But again, the key to our pricing model here is that we feel that we have a really good business model in the sense that it's a recurring revenue, as the model is basically a subscription-based model for these universities, so they're paying us on a yearly basis for our service. Additionally, as an investor, the return on investment, we're out of the red after year 2 and having a positive net income starting in year 3, which we feel is a pretty solid turnaround. Looking at our board of advisors, the 2 gentlemen on the left are from InnovationWorks. InnovationWorks is a seed stage investment firm in Pittsburgh where they invest in early stage technologies. Steve Halpern, the third person, runs a family office in Pittsburgh where they invest in early stage technologies. Additionally, he's a co-owner of 2 businesses. David Calson is our lawyer, and David Calson has helped us through the incorporation process and will be on board with us as we move forward. We really feel our solution solves this issue that's a nationwide problem amongst the NCAA. So we thank you for the opportunity to present, and we'll now open the floor for questions.
Very good. Judges?
The question on your sales cycle, if you're looking one university, how long take you engage them, eventually secure the contract, and you can start collect revenue?
Well, once we meet with the universities and the athletic directors, we will discuss the different pricing terms, and then once we actually get to see because first we have to see what program they use, such as GW uses Banner. Although we are customizable with whatever software possible, I think once we look at the software, we can give a pricing terms, and they're not going to change varying the customer. They're always going to stay the same. So there's really not much to look into besides the pricing terms we have, what they're looking for, and how we can customize the software for them.
So have you estimate it takes you 6 months or 3 months to secure one university?
I would say about 3 months.
3 months?
Yes.
I think also, too, as our business starts expanding and more universities come on board, I think that sales cycle will become shorter. I think it's the fact of entering this market. It's not a simple market to enter, and we realize that, but as we sort of get other schools, big-name schools, D1 schools like a GW, on board with it, it's much easier to then go to another big D1 school and say, hey, this is a case study, this is who's been using our product, these are the savings they've gotten from it, and I think that will shorten our sales cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, John, just a question. This has a lot of robust features for the student athlete in terms of scheduling and messaging back, but is there an opportunity to interface this back to the professor so that syllabus and information from the courses that you're missing can be downloaded back to the students so they actually have those online?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Again, we've sort of started at this point as a starting point from a feature standpoint, but I think that's definitely something that we would want to integrate in the future. I know this actually started from a class here at GW, and the professor was constantly saying how he has all these student athletes in the class that may be missing class time. So having the ability to help from a professor side of things as well, I think that's definitely something that we could integrate with in the future.
And they can't, not just videos, that's the only thing you can share notes. So ideally for the team message board, you would send the message to the entire department saying, hey guys, I missed this class. Is there anybody in this class that can send me the notes because my team wasn't able to go to class this day? And they can share notes on the actual platform and not have to meet up somewhere to actually physically hand each other the notes.
Very robust. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you discuss the compliance aspect of this, what exactly are you referring to?
So the way, I mean, actually, Betsy, if you want to address this, because you're the one that fills out compliance forms.
Yeah, the compliance forms, every year we have to fill out compliance forms for GW as well as the NCAA. These are medical forms or liability forms, that just long forms that write the same thing over and over. So, and we have to send them back to both places, and it's a slow process, and nobody likes doing it because everyone has to do it every year. So we're just trying to make it quicker because we realize that some of these forms won't be able to be signed, like the medical forms, yet.
I apologize. I meant
Right.
from the collegiate standpoint. You said you hired people for compliance. People were hired for compliance.
No,
that was me. Right now, college administrations have 2 to 3 people working on just the compliance form. So on average, they have to pay these people over $120,000 to $180,000, depending on how many administrators you have. So this lowers the cost because they don't need as many administrators going through the forms as they'll be online.
And they have to keep track of all that stuff. So when you have 1,000 forms to keep track of and they're all paper, where are you going to put them? We'll give them a database where they can log in, send notifications to the student athletes if they're outstanding, if they've completed them. So everyone's on the same page with these forms. There's no more paper sitting around. It's all in one place.
Other questions?
Is there additional capital requirement to have the interface from the professors back to the student, or do you anticipate that you can do that on this platform and with the capital that you have now?
we anticipate we can do it on the same platform. Again, this platform is going to be built out significantly, and I think there's room for other opportunities within this market as well for it as well. So I think it will be built out on the same platform, but again, that's something we'll probably have to see in the future depending on that, if we go that route.
Great. Thank you very much. Excellent. Good job, Jon.